Soji interpreted as threatening.
Sure.
And then killed her. I was like, oh God, why did I come here?
Oh, activated.
Activated threat. Oh, no, Soji. Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Star Trek Picard, Season 1, Episode 7, Nepenthe. Our episode begins with another flashback. They've been doing that pretty consistently.
That's true. Got to have a flashback.
This one is not that far in the past.
No,
it's
not really.
Agnes,
couple of days,
receiving a terrible vision.
Yes.
From Commodore O.
Yes, it was
the one that led to her essentially deciding to kill Maddox.
Yeah, she's not very good at consent. That one. Like,
yeah, good point. It's like, oh, man, okay.
Force that on there. The meld on you.
You also got to wash those hands first.
And a lot of times you see these, melders. They're just one hand.
Yeah, good point.
She's a double hander. She's got.
Oh God! Wow! You poked me in the eye.
Yeah.
If you do that wrong. Glasses. You're right. You need the Three Stooges block. It's a mind meld block. So we start with that. We'll talk about that. But we end with Picard and Soji, who have kind of newly formed a bond, leaving Nepenthe, heading for Soji's homeworld, essentially.
Yes.
What she calls
yes.
homeworld. What'd you think, Mr. Button?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a good episode. A lot to chew on there. I'm not as... I think for people who have a special affection for the Next Generation, it was especially powerful. But, I mean, I thought it was fine, but by the time I came into the Next Generation when it was on, it had been on for a number of years, and it was like maybe a year or two before Deep Space Nine was, which might be a part of the reason why I prefer Deep Space Nine, but its ambitions I preferred. So, in a way, like, I don't think I've said it before here, and maybe not even to you, but that's helped me form an opinion about fandom, which is like people who are, I would call someone a fan if they have more positive things to say than negative things.
Okay. And
if someone's more passionate about something than I am, I'm like, you're a fan, I am not a fan, so you don't have to be a fanatic. You won't be rabid if I don't claim myself as a fan. And so I don't claim myself as a fan of Next Generation. So, while it was nice seeing Picard and Troy and Riker, and I thought Riker did a good job, and Troy was interesting. I thought she's had a hard way to go for her whole character throughout the whole series, but she had some good moments and good stuff there. But I wasn't like, ooh, this is getting me in the feels.
Okay, I
liked the episode, but I didn't think it was great.
I'm probably more of a fan.
I think you probably are. So you're not a fanatic, I will not be a fan.
I'm the Philly fanatic. I did enjoy the nostalgia of Riker and Picard and Troy and Picard, like meeting up again and seeing them in their retirement. And I thought that was well done, and I appreciated getting a glimpse of those characters. That's the main storyline.
Sure.
That's our A plot.
Yep.
Our B plot reminds us what's going on back on the cube.
Yes.
Which is where we left off with Elnor and Hugh are left against a bunch of Romulans. We don't really see what happened there. We just kind of pick up with Hugh is captured.
Yep.
And Rizzo, our evil Romulan, is interrogating
Now,
Hugh.
to be fair, well, yes, she's definitely torturing Hugh.
Yeah.
I was going to saying torturing those Borg, because she just kills them.
She just kills them. No, it's
so
Hugh.
No torture.
It's emotional torture. Yeah, right.
That's really kind.
Right. It's like a chaotic evil versus lawful evil. She's like, all right, I'll just kill you. I'm not going to beat around the bush. But yeah, she lines up a bunch of Borg and she just starts shooting them. Actually, I thought it was going to be tell me, because she wants to know where Soji and Picard went.
Yep.
So Hugh's not telling.
Nope.
To his credit, he doesn't tell.
That's right.
He's like, whoa. But I thought it was going to be a shoot one.
Yes.
Where are they? No? shoot 2.
Yes.
That's kind of the way usually you
Yeah.
see those things go. Instead, it was like, shoot 1. Where are they? Shoot them all.
Yeah.
It was
she's,
like,
very,
oh,
she's very impatient.
you could have just
She's
had
like-
you could have just had 2 in that situation, right? I mean, that's the same value
Yeah.
basically. But yeah, so
Yeah,
she
so you should never ask her how many licks it'll take to get to the center of a...
right, or if you were trying to like,
1, 2, 3.
or just negotiating with her would be like, I'd like to buy this for $1, $500. Okay, you're supposed to come down and okay, never mind. All right.
Well,
anyway.
if she's on that end of it, where she might pay $500, she'll just shoot you. 10. What? Blam.
So her interrogation style leaves a little to be
It
desired,
does.
but it's also evil.
Evil.
Interesting. She has a similar ploy with both Hugh and the crew of the Serena, in that both of them escape.
Oh yes,
She lets both of them
Yes, that's
escape
true.
and tracks both of them.
that's true.
So that's her strategy. That's her
Yes.
big like, ha ha. So in Hugh's case, he gets out. Elnor shows up, and they're running around the cube, and then he says like, "All right, it's time to." He says something, insurrection-y.
Yes.
Time for the board to take these
Yep,
Romulans
yep,
out or something.
yep,
He's like, ha ha! She shows up. You thought you were escaped, but I've been listening and watching, and
Yes,
so
yes.
now I can kill you.
Yes.
Which is like, well, that's not a long way around.
Yeah,
to
it
that,
is.
But okay, she's like, he's Federation, so I can only torture him and then shoot all of his friends in front of him, killing him. That's where the Federation would draw the line, apparently. So, in her efforts to kill him, she has to fight Elnor.
Yep.
They square off, a little melee.
Sure.
Elnor does dodge phasers.
Yeah,
disrupt him, and he's like, boop, boop, boop,
I wonder if
boop, boop.
one of the key factors have to be like, it's really dark. It's like, what the hell is he? Blam, blam.
Damn, these boxes in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah,
Why did they-
without lights, it's like
Ah.
we can't do that. It's too bad. It's all that cursed. And well, I guess the combination of the Borg technology, where they probably like things dark. They're like coders or something.
Sure.
And
or they're from the mirror universe.
right. And also the Romulans. What better way to keep a secret in the dark? So they might be like, oh no, what's with the lights?
Rizzo takes out a little knife and
Yep.
throws it at Hugh.
Yep.
Kills him.
Kills Hugh.
Man, that was like, it's a very accurate shot, I
Yep,
guess.
yep.
He's got his carotid or something. I don't know. Anyway, he dies.
How do you feel about that?
As a pattern, I'm not a big fan of the fact that they keep bringing.
Yeah.
Hey, look! You remember Maddox? He was in that really popular show episode back in. We brought him back dead. Oh, remember Icheb? Yeah, he was this popular character back in Voyager. He's dead. Oh, remember Hugh? Now, obviously, Hugh. He had that big relationship with Picard, and they went. He's dead.
Right.
Like just. It seems like a gimmick now, where they're just bringing characters back. Like, remember this guy? This is an Easter egg for you. Now he's dead.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like burning through the canon
Yes.
practically.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we know that
how many characters can
they
you
do
bring
have
and kill?
certainly a lot of canon, a lot
Yeah.
of years
Sure.
and years of episodes. So there's that. I do think it's like you can certainly make that it creates stakes, and with someone that we know actually. With those people we didn't know, it's like, what are you doing? Who cares about these people with different people?
Hugh is
Give
right.
us a
Was much
chance
more than, like,
to
a
like
cameo.
this new actor in the part,
True.
But no, they just killed him. But this one, at least you know the actor, and killing him, okay, it just makes you wonder what they're getting out of
In
it.
fact, I did mention last recap, our episodes. Anyway, when I said I made a prediction, I'm still not 100% sold on this prediction, but I thought that perhaps they were leading to a moment where Picard becomes kind of the spokesman in chief for the rights of the ex-Borg.
Yes.
You
I have
made it.
argued very vehemently against it.
You argued against ex-Borg rights. You're terrible. All right, but you made an excellent point in the time to say, well, wouldn't that be Hugh's job?
Sure.
Hugh would be the most logical. And
Yeah.
I agreed with you. I said, yeah, that's true. If he survives, a week later, he's dead.
Yeah, a week later he's dead.
So
But then of course they brought somebody else.
that's true. 7 of 9
So
could
there you
now
go.
be that person.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, the way they set her character, it's kind of hard to imagine her not taking the job.
Yeah.
Because
and now
before
they've got
that,
her, as we see from the end of this episode and the trailer for the next episode, she does show up at the cube.
oh, she certainly
to
shows up.
help Elnor.
Sorry if you didn't think that. But then,
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
What
in a
other
second.
ranger could she be calling?
That's maybe the most baffling plot moment in this episode, but we'll talk about that in a second. But just to finish this up, so we've got Hugh was going to be our
Yes.
Diplomat,
Yes.
arguing for the XBs. He's dead, so now I think Picard will lend a hand. But as you mentioned, does anybody want to watch a whole season of him speaking on behalf of the X-Borg?
Yes.
No.
No.
So he's probably going to give some kind of little inspirational speech.
Sure.
And then 7 of 9 will be that. She's been looking for a purpose,
Yes, she has.
and this will be it.
Yeah.
To help the XBs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that real fast though. This weird moment that comes out of nowhere. And it's
Yes.
like, what? So it's Elnor. He's on the run. He's been told by Hugh, oh, if you want to use the gate, the only way to access it is you have to have a Borg.
Yes.
To get into the Queen's room.
Yes.
The room of requirement.
And they really, for a moment, you could. I mean, well, I guess they still are setting you up fairly well for what's supposed to happen in the next episode. But it's sort of like, oh motherfuckers, I'm gonna go get them. It's like they killed all those people. They're in for a fight, and then they kill him. But they're still setting up for a big Borg battle between the Borg and the Romulans, and that should be fun.
Yep. There are definitely Borgs and Romulans a coming. So Elnor, trapped on the cube.
Star Trek.
And he's right. Star Runner. He's home Star Runner. Hey, there we go. That's his name translates from Elvish. Anyway, so okay, but
yeah.
So he's in this quandary. I guess he could theoretically just grab any Borg and go, "Hey, walk with me," but he doesn't know anybody. He's shy. He doesn't want to meet people. He knows 7 of 9. Anyway, in this moment where he's lost and hiding and worried about it, he looks up. I think it's up, and like hanging from a chain from the ceiling. I don't know. There's It's the communicator.
I thought he was
beacon.
like hiding at a table, and then he saw it from the table. But even still,
maybe that's it.
Why would it be on the table?
It's the little communicator badge that 7 of 9 gave to Picard a couple episodes ago, which is like, hey, if you ever need me, just call. You can call me with this.
Hey,
okay.
I wonder if here's another thing. We were speculating what would be acceptable.
How do they explain this in an acceptable way?
Yeah. So maybe it wasn't. Maybe she had a number of them, and she's like, gave it to the whole crew, but she also gave it to him.
Because it seemed that would be acceptable.
Yeah.
Except he looks like he finds it. That's the part. Like if he had just pulled it out of his pocket, I would have made the connection. Oh, sure. Picard probably gave it to him when he left him on the cube, and he just calling him. But no, he's like, oh God, I don't know what to do. I gotta get it. Yeah. Oh look, boop. So
what if you were actually seeing his consciousness, and so in his head he's remembering it. It's right there as if it was real, but it's really in his pocket.
Here's what I'm hoping isn't the case. I'm hoping that they're not pulling a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where what we're gonna see is someone's like, oh. Well, in order for this all to work, Elnor needs to get that badge. So I'm going to show up where Elnor is ahead of time and plant the badge so he'll find it. Like, please don't time travel, plot device this away. I just don't know how they do it. I feel like at this point they have to acknowledge it because they've shown him finding a thing that he has no business finding. How? Hey, if you have ideas, maybe we're missing something.
Yeah, maybe we missed
Maybe an episode ago, Picard was like, I'm going to put this here. If you need it in the meantime, you can find it here, hanging from a random crate. But I don't see how that got explained or will be explained in a satisfactory way. It was kind of just like we want this to happen. We want 7 of 9 to come rescue him. Here's how.
Yes.
Boop, burp. So that seems like the weak plot point of this episode. I had to find one.
Okay.
That kind of takes care of the side of things.
Two.
The ship escapes eventually. They're in a tractor beam. They get let go because Agnes is being tracked. We learned that from when she's
Yes.
flashback.
Yes.
O's like, eat this.
Yes, eat this.
Chew it.
Chew it.
So that it's all in powder form and stays in your system.
There you go.
Narek is tracking them, by tracking her.
Yep.
Actually, let's finish that off. We'll do the people on the ship first.
Yeah.
So, Agnes is, got all kinds of guilt and PTSD and all this stuff. The visions she saw, it's in very quick snippets.
Yep.
I think it's still questionable whether it's in the future or the past. When I first saw it, I thought it's a future.
Right.
Because we're seeing things blow up.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You brought the point, maybe it's the past. We're seeing Romulus, Romulus getting destroyed. And, so I don't know. I know if you have a thought onto what we're seeing, is it a future vision? Is it a past vision? It's a little weird.
I would hope past.
I would hope past as well.
I mean, unfortunately, they have set up this thing, which, feels lazy of the whole, it's been prophesized there will be a destroyer. And, I was telling you that my hope is that it's just an aphorism or something. So sort of like, their philosophy is whenever you allow these creatures to exist, there will be one that will cause destruction. Okay. And so in the past, there's, that's what's happened, and hopefully that's what we are seeing in the flashbacks, is that in the past there was somebody who was a destroyer, and then
kind of like a Spartacus of the cyborgs.
Yes, exactly, yes. And so you don't want that. And so, so you got to keep that from happening. And so that's what I hope is, because I don't want that to be, I think it's better not to keep away from time travel.
Here's where it's weird too, is this is seeming kind of close to Discovery Season 2. In that one, you've got Spock mind melds, and he mind melds this prophecy of, the world gets destroyed because this AI the control takes over.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have to work to prevent that. That's the rest of the season is, we'll go time travel, we'll stop the control from being created. I could be wrong on that, but there is a mind meld involved.
Yeah.
And
and
that whole thing is like, artificial intelligence, it's different from synths, but similar, is going to take over and destroy everything. We have to stop it at any cost. It feels like this is that again? It feels a little similar? I don't know.
I mean, we're hoping that there's no time travel.
Yeah, please don't let there be time travel.
But, who knows?
There's only 3 episodes left. So if they're going to do it, it's probably like a one-off. But that's kind of what they did with Discovery.
Yeah.
We have a suit. Got it.
Yeah.
They deliberately made it so quick that you can't really see a lot of stuff. See somebody committing suicide. It looks like it's Romulan.
They got some group of people that are around a circle or whatever.
That's in the trailer, but yes.
Maybe
it's also in the...
Yeah, I was stepping through it. That's
right,
you see
good.
That, these group of people going around.
Which I would guess is the origin of the Jat Vash. Is probably those folks.
It
maybe?
might be.
I don't know. But we see in the trailer they go crazy.
They do.
Whatever they learn, they go crazy.
Yeah.
Which again...
But you also see some sort of physical manifestation of some sort of infection.
Yeah.
So there's like things in them. They're
like peeling their face off and they're like, oh, look, I'm a cyborg underneath.
Yeah.
Which is also why I'm like, hey, maybe they were originally
more
synths.
than what we feared, or at least it sounded like what they were saying, is the knowledge of it will make you go crazy. Knowledge of stuff doesn't make your skin break out, and, doesn't make you do this.
Well, in other words, maybe that's the manifestation in their mind of like, oh.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be able to do it just from words coming out of your mouth. So.
And this is also where I'm still like, if the idea is, hey, we found out thousands of years ago that somewhere, thousands of years in the future, synths would take over and destroy everything. Okay. That would not make you crazy. It just wouldn't.
Right.
You would be like, oh, I'm mildly concerned.
Sure.
I get more concerned as those years get fewer. But, hey, Paul, sun's going to explode. We're all going to die. You won't. And neither will your kids or any family members. But somewhere in the future, this whole solar system won't be solar anymore.
All right. I'm going to have to remind you, though,
Do you want to stop everything and go crazy?
Of my Jor-El argument. But this says something different.
Yeah, I feel like it's something different. I don't think it's just eventually the synths take over and kill everyone, and that's making everybody crazy.
Well, hundreds of years from now, or
even
far in the
imminently.
future.
I mean, the fact that the Zhat Vash are trying to stop it means they don't believe it's a certainty, right? Like if you were like, hey, unless we do something, the synths will kill everyone. Okay, I guess we should do something. Not, I'm crazy. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm hoping that's not it. I want it to be something more.
Yeah, I think the craziness is referring to what we were seeing, the flashes that we were seeing. The people go, that's the craziness, and we don't want that to happen.
Which I think is connected to the idea that they are synths, is my thought.
Could be.
We aren't real. But anyway, okay. So we'll find out.
Or my theory, which I said, is maybe they were a biological, naturally occurring species, and they had some way to perhaps turn themselves from biological creatures into synthetic people, and that messed up. And so they're just looking at that technology as the same thing. The technology to make creatures that are synthetic, and the technology that would change humans or change humanoids into synthetics.
Gotcha.
And they see that as the same. Like eventually, like a weird sort of version of Terminator, where it's like, oh yeah, we're in charge now. Let's just infect all these people with it, and they will become like us.
Okay, all right, I like that. Agnes comes close to telling Rios that she's the reason they're being tracked.
Yes.
I don't know. I felt like he wasn't convinced.
Yeah. Well, at first I thought he was like
just using it as a way to have her tell.
Yes. I'm kind of suspicious of somebody else because they're doing suspicious things sort of the way you are.
Yeah.
But they didn't leave the way you did.
I agree. I interpreted it the exact same way.
Yeah.
Then you have that moment later where he's talking to Rafi and he's like, I don't want to do something I don't want to have to do or something like that. You could interpret it that, I guess he does actually believe Rafi is the agent.
Right.
But I think it's because he does cut off the statement. We don't hear what he was going to continue to say.
Sure.
And I could imagine him saying, I think it's Agnes. And I think she's a mole. I mean, in other words, he could be confiding in Rafi that, yep, I think it's Agnes.
Right.
So I feel like I think they're making him out to be, he's smarter than that. I think he's wise to it.
Okay.
And was trying to get her to cop to it.
Yeah.
She, instead of copping to it in the moment, decides to try to remove the tracker by very dangerous means.
Yep.
She does remove the tracker because we see Nerek's like, oh shit, where'd they go? And goes into a coma.
Yes.
That's where she currently resides.
Yes.
In coma land.
And, I'm hoping that one of the scenes from next episode is, earlier she killed Maddox.
Like when the EMH shows up? The EMH does show up again.
Yes, he does.
Oh, wow.
But, it's like, initially he had this really small trigger where it's like, oh, you look like you're upset. You look like you're confused. You're right. I'm here to help you.
Right. As opposed to, you were literally in a coma right now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you look like you're upset. And what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, he didn't even show up for that guy.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
So she's in a coma. We get a great extended shot of Rios playing soccer, which is great. I like the fact they keep doing that. I would have been all for that. Okay, anyway.
Did Rios playing soccer appear to you before your face?
It appeared before my face. He called 7 of 9 in and they played a game. It was great. Okay, so they successfully evade Narek thanks to removing the tracker, and they arrive at Nepenthe. We don't see Picard get on the ship, but we see him being beamed up to said ship.
We see him beamed up, and we assume it's to that ship.
Yes. We do assume it to that ship because he talks to
Rios,
and he's like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Oh, you asked me, same as you asked me 2 hours ago." But that was earlier in the episode.
Yep.
I feel like by the time they're there, okay. Anyway, that's a thing. So, planet. That's the bulk of this episode. We meet Riker and Troy's daughter.
Yes, we do.
Kestra.
And it was, initially she's got a bow and arrow on them. Like she couldn't recognize Picard.
She pictures
Picard of her with, him with the,
I don't think she wasn't attacking them though. I think she was just out playing and stumbled upon them. And Soji interpreted it as threatening.
Sure.
And then killed her. It was like, oh God, why did I come here?
Oh, activated.
Activated threat. Oh, no, Soji. When she pushes Picard later, he does make the comment, yeah, she could have just killed. She could have easily just pushed her hand through me, basically. So she could have easily killed the kid.
Yes, she could have.
Threat eliminated.
Yes.
So in some ways, Kestra was like on a knife's edge in that moment. Don't point that bow at her, and you die. So yeah, Kestra finds them. She's a precocious kid. I don't know. She's around 11, 12, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. We learn they live on this Nepenthe, as we mentioned last episode. Nepenthe from the Odyssey. It's a drug that helps you forget, remove your sorrow. They obviously have some sorrow to forget.
Yep.
Because Riker and Troy had a son, Thad, named after Riker's great grandfather who fought in the Civil War.
Yeah.
Was it Thaddeus Riker?
Assumably on the Union side.
I actually have an ancestor that fought on the Union side as well.
Oh, good for you.
Sergeant Bonesteel. No lie.
Okay.
I come from the Bone Steels. Anyway, there you go.
Now, is it because he would steal bones?
Oh, yes, he was Sergeant Bone Stealer.
Did he have a bone like steel?
I assumed he had adamantium, and he came out with claws.
There you
go. Kestra, named after Troy's sister who drowned, so it's more sorrow. But Thad had died, had created a couple different languages. He had lived on starships because they were still apparently active duty at the time. They are now retired. They're not wearing the uniforms. They're just hanging out in the forest.
Yeah.
But so since he didn't have a home to call, he kind of created like a home and a language that he could kind of associate with. And to honor his memory, they still use the language. And I think the episode does a good job at showing the effects of Thad and his passing on that family, even though he's not in the episode.
Apparently they went to that house because he was sick, so.
Yeah, supposedly Nepenthe has, the planet has some kind of healing properties.
Yeah.
But,
Not
very
in time.
notable, the thing that would have healed him,
Oh, yes.
positronic, medicine, they couldn't use it because of the ban on synths.
Yeah.
So the attack on the Mars base and Picard's inability to rectify the situation. It's not his fault at all, but whatever. Meant that this ban
I didn't think about it until just now, but that's an aspect of, synth technology being used on humans.
Very, very much so. In fact, there's also, it's not synth technology, but Picard points out in the moment, oh yeah, my heart.
Yeah, but I'm saying though
that
they're saying though definite synth technology that's associated with that people are using to use as medical things. So maybe that was something like, oh, now let's use it on ourselves.
Good point. Plus, I think what that is hinting at is maybe how we find out that there's a cure for Picard by the end of this season. He's on death watch. Troy reads it in him. He's like, oh, wow, he's like, I'm fine. I mean, they both know he's not fine, but just agreeing in that moment to be like, I'm fine for now. But I think you could see a situation where it kind of makes sense in a way, right? He's recovering from this Borg experience he had. He's coming to see the side of the ex-Borgs. There's this whole thing about there's a whole group of people that hate synths and synth technology is bad, blah, 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 blah. He's dying, and here ends up being some kind of a procedure by which he becomes part synth, a little more synthy, and saves his life.
Yeah, I would hope not, partly because it would feel to me like...
It's a brain ailment, too, so positronic brain stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, as opposed to like, oh, my arm.
Yeah.
But
I would feel like it was like, what a coincidence. Our son dies who would have benefited from this synth technology, and it helps Picard too. It just feels like, hey, I'm having headaches. Well, we're just going to...
I'm just saying, in other words, I thought maybe they were introducing that as hey, by the way...
That's true. I'm just saying, though, that...
technology can cure brain problems.
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. They're making the pizza.
Yep.
You got one of those big Guy Fieri outdoor pizza oven, brick oven things. I saw on the Ready Room interview, I thought it was interesting where Jonathan Frakes, I think, was mentioning that Michael Chabon of the writers for this
Sure.
episode.
Yeah.
It's like, like you wanted to show that some things, like the design is just so good that it just lasts through time. And like you don't have to. I suppose that maybe that's also why Commodore O's wearing the sunglasses. I don't know, but I still wonder mirror universe. There could be a mirror universe angle to all this, but Soji distrusts Picard. She's even wondering if she's in I think almost like a hologram or something. Like this is all a game.
Yes.
You're just trying to get me to reveal more of the location of this place. He's like, you can trust me. She doesn't trust him. Troy, as our counselor, even though she's retired, gives him advice.
Yep.
He opens up to her, and she eventually is able to confide in him.
Sure.
And like they find out the planet.
Yes.
It's our Kestra figures out. Oh, it's a planet without a name. It only has a number, which means it's not Omicron Theta, which we thought maybe last week it might be the planet where positronic research was first started and all this. No, apparently not.
Apparently not.
As far as we know,
Yeah.
it is a off the books planet with only a number.
Sure.
And they are headed that way.
Yes.
And Riker does mention, hey, by the way, I'm still on active duty or something, so if I'm ever needed, I could be brought into service. And Jonathan Frakes mentions in the Ready Room interview, I think it was funny because I felt like Will Wheaton was going on the idea of like, oh, what about that last scene where you said goodbye to Picard? Was that kind of like a, how did that feel? I think he was going the idea of like, and you'll never see him again. and Frakes was like, no, I didn't really feel like an ending. I felt like, they would probably see him again. Or whatever. So I feel like in his mind, it's not necessarily an end, and he could be called back into service should that.
Just looking for another paycheck.
Yes. Brett Spiner was on the Red Room as well, and he mentioned the fact that this was not supposed to have them on it. This show was not.
Right.
Picard gathered them all in a room and was like, "There's a new show. You're not in it." And so they were all surprised. Anybody who got to be on the show, even Jonathan Frakes, he was called in to direct, as we know, a couple episodes. Even while he's directing, he did not know he would be in the show as an actor.
Yes.
So it shows you kind of how late in the game, or later in the game at least, they decided, all right, let's get the nostalgia factor going. Anyway, so that's it. We'll be back talking about episode 8. Looks like we're going to learn some more about. I think that flashback is going to be a flashback to when the Zhat Vash decided everything. Let's kill all synths.
Yeah.
So we'll be back for that. Thanks everybody. We will talk to you next time.